healthy body of conservative elders set up to deal with problems that arise, because they're going to arise. If you think anyone anywhere is living in a utopia where there's no crime and there's nobody taking advantage of the next, well, I would like to welcome you to a new land, because indeed all of those problems are going to arise. And as I said, as any community develops, they develop different forms of punishment for offenses on all levels. And for the most part, because I'm a father over 4 times, and I have 2 daughters, and so there's no way I can tolerate anyone taking advantage of someone smaller, younger, or weaker than them. It's just not going to fly. And I'm sure I'm supported in that by many who are not only just parents, but many who believe in humanity, that they will not allow people to be taken advantage of and the like. But at the same time, no matter where you go, there you are. And each one of us have to be our next person's keeper. And so, I believe Ice Cube had a song, Stop Snitching, many years ago. It was the most heinous thing that could have hit the ears of black Americans, because that was part of the problem. People are not speaking up when they see something go down. You see something happen and you just brush it under the rug. No. If you brush it under the rug, there's also an edict in the King's Manifesto that says you have to use the same force to kill an ant as you have to use to kill an elephant, because it is the small things that bring on the large things. And so as I recall, many years ago, and this was a very traumatic story, in the development of Oyotunji, whereby one of the prominent chiefs in the village had taken advantage of one of the younger ladies. And I remember interviewing your mom, Osaremi, and she was saying that when she came into the culture, the women had so much power. They had so much power and ability to do things that she had never experienced in contemporary culture. And when that particular incident went down, I believe in the late 80s, all of the women banded together to bring the accused to the forefront and see him processed through the due process of the courts system here at Oyotunji. And believe it or not, the women had a struggle, but they prevailed in pushing forth their agenda for punishment on the level that they saw fit. And so here's a group of people. They want to call somebody forth to punish them, and they choose the punishment, and they deliver the punishment. And then it's never just all good in such a situation, because even though after the punishment has been delivered, you still have the emotional scars that remain. And so, like I say, Oyotunji is not void of having those type of things happen within its history. Oh, yeah, they did. And it makes the people here stronger. It makes the people in any community stronger, because if you have someone living in Oyotunji who may person, 9 times out of 10, they're going to end up living next door to somebody. And so, you're going to ship them to a neighborhood, to a school or some weird place like that. But at the same time, that does not release the community from being vigilant and responsible. And so we have to continue to be vigilant and responsible at our festivals and events, because there are always opportunists, people waiting for an opportunity to sneak something in or a sleight of hand, and there's always a predator lurking. This is just a capitalist country. There's always a predator lurking, whether it's financial, sexual, physical, or the like. But there's always predators lurking in every group of people, and sometimes they are able to release their bag of negative goods, but with good vigilance of the community, good elders, and good astute young people with integrity, we can bring forth those people who seek to destroy the harmony of the community.
Ashe. Thank you for speaking so candidly on that topic, His Highness. I know that was not...
it's interesting because it's everywhere now that people are saying, I went to this priest and I went in the back room and he turned out the light, turning the candle, and when he turned on the candle, he was standing there in the nude. And, you hear different stories like that. And these are actual stories that, these are real experiences that people have. And it gives a whole a bad name, and it gives the whole a black eye. And so as a whole, we have to band together. When these things happen here at Oyotunji, and people who subscribe to the method, we have a system set up. It's called the Igbim Olosha, or the Council of Elderly Priests, or priests who have paid their dues to get inside this particular egg bay, and they have trained to be in this egg bay. And within that egg bay, when something goes awry within the priesthood, that particular egg bay comes forward, and they deal with it. And then you had the Igbim Ogboni. Igbim Ogboni was with regular town matters. And so you had different egg bays and levels and groups of elders who got together when such situations arise. And so Oba Efuntala was a genius, and I'm not just going to say that because he was my blood father, but I know a genius when I see one, someone who can put together all of those understandings and all of those cultural understandings from the old world, bring it to the new world, and apply it to people and get it working for 40 years. You know, it's very, 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 very special type of forethought you have to put all of that together. And so everything from crime and punishment, birth and death, marriage and successful marriage, and divorce as well, all of those are part of Oyotunji's history. So Oyotunji, as the elders, I would say, have a good, healthy amount of experience in many aspects of people's life living together. You know, I'm intrigued and impressed by some of the stuff that comes down the pipe, but the elders a lot of the time are like, I saw that coming from X, Y, and Z. You know, they've been there and done that and had the experience of it in this country. And so, again, you just have to give all of the respect and all of the credit to the elders. You know, me as or His Royal Majesty, Oba Adefunmi, deserves very little credit. All we deserve is support to continue, but there's no credit to be given. You know, and I mean, I have to credit myself in here, of course. I was always one of the young people in Oyotunji. As a child, to be in the midst of everything, in the midst of every circle. I was the bridge from the palace to the normal people in the village, because everybody knew I was the king's son, and they knew if I could help them with different things and move around. So everybody knew my name as a child, and so I was able to be and see many, many, many different things throughout my tenure on this planet. And so, like I say, we give all respect and honor, praise, worship, reverence, and all to those elders who stuck it out. Your mother included, your father included. You know, all of those people go back to when you couldn't find nothing Yoruba in America, you know, unless you were Puerto Rican, unless you were Cubano.
That's right.
You know, and I feel that's pretty much the essence that this conversation is taking on this evening. But we do have our own here in this country, and we have to celebrate our own people and progenitors, leaders, freedom fighters, and the like in this country. And I was very impressed to attend the Abako Semsung in Atlanta, where they were highlighting the work of Dr. John Henrik Clark. It was like a pure ancestral celebration. Of course it was, but they were highlighting their people. It would have been even greater if we could have unveiled a statue of the dear doctor to stand there or continue the legacy. And so I was very inspired by that to continue telling the stories, because the children at the Abako Semsung, they did a speech or a play, a little skit on the life of the dear doctor, and it was very educational, and it tied it into the youth, because the youth did the play, and so they were being educated while they were doing the skit. And so you have to give it up to those who came before us. You know, the elders may have done things wrong, they may have went down the wrong pipe, but so are we, so did we, and so will we continue to do things wrong and do things right. And so we really have to understand and come to terms with the fact that there is nothing good or bad in the cosmos, and especially in the thinking of a Yoruba, because at the end of the day, there's always a cause and an effect to everything. And so there's nothing good or bad. For the most part, thinking makes it so.
That's right. Kabisi, you're taking 10 minutes to answer each question, and I still got 3 more to go.
Yes, I'm sorry. I will do that. That's why I told you to interject and stop me, because lots of times I speak fast and I just continue to articulate.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going, but let's give it like 3 minutes to answer this question. The next few questions. I know you don't have all night, and everybody else don't have all night. So tell me, what is the biggest challenges that you face in a field of building relationships and in being an Oba here in the diaspora?
Well, the challenge in terms of building relationships is that we have to maintain those relationships. We meet people constantly, but to maintain those relationships and build off of them, that's the key. And so we find many challenges with support for the King's initiatives and support for the work being done here and support for the greater community, because ultimately the King's vision involves the entire community as a very productive community. And so we look forward to that. And challenges of being the king in America is that we are dealing with a culture that has never really been implemented before. And so we have to be understanding. Lots of times, as His Royal Majesty, I oftentimes meet people where they are, as opposed to people having to climb up to my throne and I'm decorated in regalia and crowns and beads and all those beautiful things. That's nice, but at the end of the day, we have to work together. And so we have to cut down those invisible barriers, and we have to cut down those monsters on the other side of the ocean, if you will, and move forward and begin to implement initiatives. The main challenge is support, support. Daily, we have to be humbled by this experience in North America as an Oba. No Oba from Yoruba land or anywhere you're going to meet from home is going to, for the most part, tolerate or be a part of some of the things that I have to be a part of, because it's a different culture, it's a different atmosphere, it's a different climate, it's a different time zone. And so, we're light years from being like we used to be, and if we're looking to be like we used to be, well, I'm here to tell you that's a high mark to try to reach. That's if we want to go there, we can go there. We can go anywhere we want, but we have to be able to support the Oba in his endeavors. If we're going to do this from a traditional standpoint, or if we're going to do this from a quasi-traditional standpoint, we're going to have to support the Oba. And the Oba's wishes at this particular time is for all peoples to come together and cease with the simple things that separate us, like religion and how we do things, And so those are some of the challenges. I'm sure next time if people would like to ask more, want to know more, they could write in so I don't have to go too long for you, Osaremi.
Okay, no problem. What would you like your legacy, and we'll go ahead and conclude with this question, because we know everyone is going to be getting tired, and I'm sure you're getting tired of talking. What would you like your legacy to be? What would you like to finally say to the listeners of OORadio, your closing remarks, and then once you do that, if you would close out with a prayer, and I will talk to everyone on Thursday.
Oda, is that, it's so many things that you could say, so many things that one can say at such a juncture as this, but we will reach out and try to grasp this particular opportunity and let people, or your listeners and anyone